Hey guys, this is Lisa. Welcome back to my new channel, NYC Gal Pod. Don't forget to hit the like, follow, subscribe, leave me a comment, and all that good jazz. We are talking Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 19, Episode 2, The Return of Gretchen and Slade. So let's just get right into it. We're going all over the place. We're taking us, wherever my thoughts take us. Anyway, off topic. So when I was watching episode 1, I did feel like it was kind of a piled up on Katie. And what I said was, I don't like it when a franchise has that token minority. The optics of it just look so bad when you're viewing it. It just looks like a gang. I felt like watching that last 10 minutes of season 1, it felt like a pile up on Katie. Now, she invited everybody to have this hot pot luncheon, which by the way, guys, if you never had hot pot, it's like legit so good. Like if you are somebody who likes Korean barbecue or Korean food or Vietnamese food, Chinese food, Japanese food, like hot pot is like the shit. It is so good. Like, oh my goodness. It's basically broth, right? You could choose like the different types of broth. And you know what? If you like pho, okay, so if you've ever had Vietnamese food and you have pho, this is like legit kind of very similar. You could cook like anything in it, and it's so good. You guys, if you're in a small town, you're probably not going to find a location like that, but if you're in a major city, you legit should try it because that is so good. Anyway, so she invites all the ladies to have her hot pot luncheon and whatever else, and even as she was getting ganged up on, I started feeling a little bit bad. But here's the thing, Tamra had, previous to the luncheon, Tamra had dropped it to what's her face, Emily and Gina. You see, those two are so unforgettable that I can't even remember like what the hell their names are. But anyway, she had dropped it to those two that, oh yeah, you know, by the way, Katie said that she actually recorded Shannon having a meltdown. Now, I was right away, I was like, Tamra is bullshit. Like this is her being messy, just her putting something out there. Maybe she heard it from like some content creator, some stan account, and she's being messy. That was my initial thought. At the luncheon, Gina, when she was going so hard after Katie, and let me tell you, Gina, she has no storyline because this was not even her fight. Emily has beef with Katie because of that whole babysitter shit, bullshit, whatever. And then Tamra, she had beef with her because of like this content creator or whatever. I'm not calling them blogs because like legit people, they don't use the label blogger correctly. This person is not a blogger. The majority of these people that are called bloggers are not bloggers. So I'm not calling her a blogger because that's like, to me, I am so protective of that title just for the fact that I grew my platform as a legit blogger. I have a blog. I'm not even talking about the NYC Gal Pod blog. I'm talking about my original blog, NYC Gal Out, which is still up and running if anybody wants to check that out. But that shit was like started way back when, like going how many years back? I'm not even going to get into it anyway. But so like, that's why I feel like so protective of that title, because it's like, no, call yourself a podcaster, call yourself a vlogger. Like, why do people need to say they're a blogger? Like, where the fuck is your blog at? Anyway, so whoever this person is, Katie and Tamra were able to kind of be done with it, right? Fix it, whatever. Gina going so hard after Katie. I'm just like, oh yeah, Gina, you are so insecure about your employment status. I feel like she wants to have problems with Katie because she's looking to ice Katie out, because Gina, at this point, Gina's not really hosting events. She's kind of like broke. She's not broke, but like compared to the other ladies, she's kind of feeling a little bit broke. I don't feel like anybody's really invested in what's going on with her and Travis. Like, I don't feel like people are involved or interested in that dynamic like that. You know, if there was anyone who would be replaced, I feel like it would be Gina. And I feel that is one of the reasons why she has this sort of like energy towards Katie. Now, Katie, she's low hanging fruit. She's the newbie. You know, that's like the easiest person to go after. And even up to that point, I was thinking, yeah, what Tamra told the girls were bullshit, until she brings it up, because Shannon was like trying to kind of like defend Katie a little bit at that luncheon. And Gina's like, oh, well, what about what she did to you? You know, she did, like, she basically hurt you too. She like did that shit. And Shannon's like, wait, what she did to me? What she did to me? Gina drops the bomb on Shannon. I was like, oh yeah, well, she recorded you having a meltdown. And Katie's like, oh, like, what? No, I didn't. I never said that and all this stuff. And then I forgot who it was, if it was Jen or Gretchen, but one of them was like, and how do you know? Or who did you hear it from? And Gina's like, Tamra told me. And then Tamra's like, well, yeah, that's what you told us. You told it to me and Alexis or whatever. So Katie, she then tries to explain it away by saying she was on the phone with her investor and she was mad because she had to hang up. And so like, blah, 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 blah. I didn't buy her excuse. But it started making me look at Katie with like such distaste, because this whole time I was like, oh, okay, you know what? This is the person I'm rooting for. And this was like such a letdown, because Shannon was nice to Katie, and she was like the only one who wasn't like piling it up on Katie at that reunion, besides from Jen. But I felt like Jen wasn't really even doing much to like back her up. And Shannon was like the only one who kind of like even spoke up for Katie. And Katie did that to Shannon at the reunion. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter if you're justified when you're having a meltdown. Nobody looks good when they're having a meltdown, even if you are 100% justified, because the person recording you, they're not showing what led up to that meltdown. They're not showing the context of that meltdown. All you're seeing as a viewer, as somebody who is viewing somebody having a meltdown, you're just seeing the meltdown. So it makes you look crazy. And that's with anybody. That's not even just with Shannon. It's anybody. Anybody that you record their meltdown, they're going to look real shitty, okay? Because all you're seeing is that meltdown. She should know that, okay, that was real fucked up to do, because you knew that Shannon had problems with John and Alexis. They legit was suing her. And the whole entire story arc surrounding Shannon last season was that they were both coming out and like saying, oh yeah, we got videos of Shannon when she was shit-faced on the night of her DUI and all this other stuff. So Katie doing that, it was like so, I feel like so nefarious, like so sinister, so devious. And I don't believe that bullshit that she was on the phone with her investment banker and whatever the fuck that was. That was like something she pulled out of her ass crack. Because what I think happened was that Shannon had a meltdown. It was legit a meltdown. And she pulled the phone out to record because she wanted to have something in her back pocket. It was like Brittany Bateman, Brittany Bateman over there in Salt Lake City, she pulled her phone out and she hit the record, and she could make what excuse she wants. But the consensus amongst the lady was like, no, you wanted us recorded because you wanted to have something in your back pocket to use against us. Like, oh, look how crazy they look and whatever. And I legit think that's exactly what happened with the whole Katie situation. So now I have like this distaste about her, and she's looking real shitty to me right now. I don't know if she could redeem herself, but like, look, this doesn't affect my life. This is like something between her and Shannon. So if Shannon is cool with it, you know what, Shannon, if you like it, I love it. Okay. So if you're cool with her, I'm cool with her. But right now I'm just kind of like looking at her like, yeah, that was shitty. And she's kind of like down there in the shit list right now. But we'll see. Maybe they're able to move on from it. The trailer for next episode, for episode 3, is that Shannon is like all up in Katie's grill. Like, you're even worse than Alexis Bellino and all this other stuff. So, oh no. But anyway. All right. So the return of Gretchen and Slade. Okay, so Ryan and Jen, they have a dinner get together. Katie and Matt are invited, as well as Gretchen and Slade. They get together. They're kikiing. They're basically, just going over what's happened and whatever. Gretchen, I will give kudos and props to Gretchen, because Gretchen in her confessional, she's like, ha ha ha, bitch. Like, we've been together. She's talking about her and Slade. We've been together for 15 years and we have a beautiful 5.5-year-old daughter. So she gets her applause, because a lot of people, and I was never a fan of OC like that. I'm not a fan of any of the franchises like that. But I do remember that was a big accusation or allegation, was that, oh yeah, that relationship is fake. She's doing it for a storyline. Slade is grimy. He's with a housewife because he just wants camera time. He wants to be on TV and all this other stuff. Because Slade had dated somebody. I that first season, I never watched the first season, so I legit don't even know what the hell her name is. I think her name is Joe or Joanne or Jojo or Jojo Mama. I don't even know. But anyway, so people were saying like, oh yeah, well, he hopped on to Gretchen because he just wants to be on TV again. But you know what? They've been together for 15 years. They haven't been on TV, on our Bravo television screen, for the last 12 years. And it was more than just for the cameras, because like legit, the cameras haven't been filming them for 12 years already. At least not Bravo. I don't know if they had other businesses and opportunities with other networks, but the Bravo Housewife franchise cameras have not been filming them for the last 12 years, and they're still together. You know what song comes to mind? Shania Twain, You're Still the One, because the hook of that song is like, looks like we made it, look how far we come by, baby. I can't sing. I'm not even going to try, but you guys know. But you know what? If those two ever do get married, legit, that should be their wedding song. So yeah, kudos to them, because she's like, to all the haters out there, like, yeah, it's 15 years and still going strong. I think it bothers Tamra so much. Tamra was going so hard against that relationship that it's kind of like egg in her face at this point, because it's been 15 years. And she was the one that kept on saying like, oh, he wants to be on TV. This relationship is because he wants to be on TV, but they haven't been on TV for 12 years. So it's egg in her face. There's a little bit of hate there. She's talking about what happened was Gretchen was like, well, you talk shit about me. And Tamra's like, when did I talk shit? And Gretchen's like, you keep calling Slade a deadbeat dad. And she's like, oh, is he not? And she's like, no, but let's talk about what a shitty mom you are. And here's the thing. Kids are not off limits when you are talking about somebody else's like parenting and whatever. And her saying to Gretchen, I was talking about him, you know, like basically saying like, oh, I'm not talking shit about you, I'm talking shit about him. But that's been her man for the last 15 years. That's the father of her daughter. So it's like, you talking shit about my man that I'm still with, that's you talking shit about me. Because if you are in a good relationship like that, and you know, they've been together for 15 years, I'm hoping they're in a good relationship. If you're in a good relationship like that, then somebody talking shit about your woman or your man, that's them talking shit about you. And Tamra, you see, that's why I'm like wondering, like, what is her relationship with Eddie? Because like legit, if she doesn't see that connection, then I'm thinking you'll just hang your husband out to dry, because that's not like, what? So when Gretchen hits her back with, well, let's talk about what Sydney said about you. Like, you're a shitty mom. Sydney actually says she was like a real abusive mother. Sydney is the oldest child between her and Simon. She has a son with from a previous relationship, but her and Simon have 3 kids together, and Sydney is the oldest one of those 3. Sydney, as an adult, hopped onto social media and basically was like, yeah, my mom's a piece of shit, okay? Now, she's trying to say, oh, that's not my daughter who posted that. That was Simon. I don't believe it for a hot minute, not even for a hot second. I know there was no doubt at all that Sydney wrote that. But let's entertain her nonsense. Let's entertain her bullshit and go with it. Like, oh, okay, Simon wrote that. If Sydney didn't feel that way, she would have deleted it. If you were feeling like, oh yeah, you know, that's not me, or that's not how I felt, or, you know, that's just my father putting it up out there. If that was what it was, if that was the case, she would have deleted it. And then it would have been follow up with like, yeah, I didn't write that shit. My dad wrote it. No, the follow-up post was that legit was 100% my post. Anyway, I believe it. She was talking shit about like, your daughter is saying you're a piece of shit mom, so don't come at my man saying he's a deadbeat dad. Now, we do find out that Slade's son died like 2 years ago from brain cancer. And what Gretchen says is that, you know what, that was his son too. And basically like what she was trying to convey was that he was grieving the death of his son also. That was also his son. So you hopping onto your podcast and talking shit about what kind of father he is while he's grieving his son. Look, with finances, it's always so messy, because the person that has to pay always feels like they're paying too much. And then the person receiving always feels like they're not getting enough. Look at Britney Spears. Britney Spears, like, what the fuck is this K-Fed guy doing or did or whatever? Like, she don't have to pay anymore, but for like the last 16 years, she was paying. And this man was basically a professional baby daddy. And a lot of people were like, oh, but if the roles were reversed, you guys wouldn't have a problem with it, which is true. So in that sense, you know what, K-Fed? Get it for all the dads out there who feels like they get shafted. But like, look, like Tamra, she's just somebody that I don't jive with. I'm not like, I don't vibe with her. I think she's like a little bit like, you know, whatever. And she's just not somebody that I would ever jive with. But having said all of that, I have such a distaste for Katie right now. I still like Jen. I'm glad Gretchen returned, because Alexis and John being on last season was like such a disaster. Like, why did you even bring those 2, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, onto like our TV screens? Like, what was that? I was not interested in those 2. I'm more interested in Gretchen and Slade. Now, I'm not a fan of Slade. I kind of think he's like grimy a little bit, but I like Gretchen. You know, she could hold her own, and I want to see her go toe-to-toe with Tamra. There doesn't seem to be jack shit going on with Heather. There doesn't seem to be jack shit going on with Gina. With Emily, I guess Emily's story this season is that she's concerned about her child and his eating habits, and she's going to see if he's on the spectrum. So I don't know, but this is her storyline for this season. Anyway, that is the wrap up. I don't feel like I missed anything. You guys let me know if I missed anything. And that's it. I'll see you guys for Real Housewives of Atlanta Part 2 reunion. And of course, guys, I'm going to say it again. Don't forget to hit the like, follow, subscribe, leave me a comment, and all that good jazz. I know that I've got 2,200 subscribers out there in the universe of YouTube. Where are you guys at? Because you guys are watching my shit. And if you guys are trying to find me, like that old channel is gone. So this is the new channel. And maybe you guys, I don't know, maybe you guys are thrown off by my haircut. Maybe you guys are like, oh no, that can't be Lisa. The last time Lisa had a video, her hair was like all the way up to her elbows. Like, but no, this is me. You see the background over there? I got my Ranger Tap background. I got the sword over there. It's me. Anyway, that's it, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.